Ladies and gentlemen, now a few months ago I was talking about taking Luke Cage up to rank 5 and I decided today is the day, boys. I've got a bit of tier 5 basic expiring. I'm pretty much at the science cap as well. I've got like 10 science in overflow, so I thought now would be the perfect time to max out Luke Cage and have a little bit of fun, see what this champion can do as a maxed out 5-star. Now, as a bit of a heads up as well, in today's video we do have the champion synergy, so as long as we don't dash back, we've got a 30% increased chance to apply exhaustion and also stun, so that makes Luke Cage absolutely crazy, especially when combined with the Sunspot synergy, which gives you additional chance to apply your exhaustion and also increase duration on them as well. So it just allows you to get this very quick damage ramp up and just slaughter absolutely stacked enemies. That's the variant for Namor there, down in under 30 seconds, man, and he's got like 150,000 hit points. So if you can get used to this playstyle, man, this team, it isn't the best at everything. It certainly doesn't work for everything. However, in the scenarios where it does work, like Luke Cage is just absolutely ridiculous. He's got some crazy burst and just reliable chain stuns, because the champion synergy is going to give you a 100% chance to stun on the special one, providing you've got 3 or more exhaustion. And with this team synergy, it's very easy to keep that up. So it just means you can go into fights, just nuke away, keep spamming that special one, keep chaining it on. And my maxed out Luke Cage, I've kind of found today that he has the reliable burst damage to get anywhere between about 200,000 to 250,000 hit points down reliably, but the damage output from Luke Cage very much depends on the exhaustion RNG you get. So with this synergy, like the champion and the Sunspot one, I think you approximately have about a 75% chance on every single light attack to apply exhaustion, and there are scenarios where it just goes crazy, man. You can easily get like 10, 13 stacks, and there are scenarios where it's going to be between like 3 and 6. So yeah, it's very different fight to fight, but when it works incredibly well. And here we have the Void matchup in variant 4 as well, after Heimdall and Namor, and this Void, along with all the other fights, do have the strike back node, and exhaustion also reduces power gain, and once you get above 4 stacks it inverts it. So if you saw power draining, it was because we had 4 or more stacks. So whenever we had the strike back node, which would give the opponent a bar of power, if there was enough exhaustion to flip that, it would instead drain the power. So a very, very cool interaction there. However, next up we got the All or Nothing Iron Patriot and also Magneto fights in variant 4. So if you do decide, ever you want to take up your Luke Cage and play about with him with this full team synergy, the most tricky part is kind of learning how to start the fight and not relying on dash back at all, because a lot of like your natural instinct when playing is going to tell you to dash back at certain points, but if you dash back you lose that champion synergy. So the biggest challenge I find in every single fight is just like the first like 3-4 combos, because you ideally want to use that special one when you're very close to a special 2, because you need that large excess of power to get as many special ones as you can off in a row before you have to rely on like using the awakened ability of Luke Cage to tank a special 3. But again, once you get into the rhythm of this champion, the stun chains are just ridiculous. There's so much damage output and you're just literally hammering away at the enemy. It's just a lot more faster paced than Ronan. The damage numbers are much higher as well, so it just feels very satisfying, especially considering it can work in like any single matchup where the opponent can be stunned and battered, which is still a lot of the game's content. Granted, it's not going to work absolutely everywhere, and there are synergy requirements when it comes to building this, but the 4 champions that you bring alongside Luke Cage, like Sunspot, amazing champion, Red Hulk as well, really good. Like the champion, he's okay, and Mephisto ain't too bad as well. So there are no champions that are absolute deadweight in this team, so for all sorts of bits and bobs it can work, but overall, man, there are better champions and better team synergies out there. I just friggin' love Luke Cage, man. I had so much fun with this dude back in the day on Whale Milker 27. He was just my friggin' MVP as a 5-star rank 4 unawakened. So now to have him at rank 5 on the main account and be able to build like this full team around him and just allow him to go crazy is just super enjoyable. So this is Realm of Legends Wolverine, and this is where the synergy really shines as well, because you have so many debuffs. So any scenario where there's a lot of healing and you can play aggressively, you can just pretty much cancel out that healing. And also with a couple of points, or I've only got 1 point actually in the The mastery that reverses healing while stunned. We're getting a little bit of heal reversal there as well. You can see we are just absolutely tearing apart Realm of Legends Wolverine. We don't want to dash back, so we block that special 2, and then go for another combo straight into a special 1, and we got a 99 hit KO there with Luke Cage. But also, one very important thing to keep in mind with Luke Cage is there are a lot of hits on the special 1, and they're very quick as well. So the combo meter builds up much quicker than your average champion in this game. If we look at like the first Namor matchup, for example, that was like a 29-second KO, but it was 40 hits on the combo meter. So the combo meter, it really racks up with Luke Cage, especially once you start spamming that special 1. It just moves up very, very quickly. So I don't think he's a champion that you can compare other champions to based on the combo meter. It's always important to look at stuff like the fight duration, because that's where you really get an idea of like this champion's damage per second. And this is kind of why I wish Marvel Contest of Champions, like I used to play World of Warcraft, and there were damage meters where you could see like damage per second. I wish there was some sort of way to access that information for kind of more interesting champion comparisons. I think there's a lot of fun stuff we could do if there was some sort of way to access a damage meter in MCOC. So yeah, hopefully that is a feature that we see in the future at some point, man. That'd be very, very cool to see. You can see here he's just absolutely rinsing down Captain Marvel and Realm of Legends with some really good exhaustion RNG toward the start. Now, not so much. We failed a special 2 there, but Luke Cage's indestructible kicks in. We take absolutely no damage there. We've got 8 stacks of exhaustion at the moment. You can see we're getting 10k mediums there. Very nice numbers. Some nice 8k crits as well. We're going for another chain on. We're in Assassin's range now. Nice little 10k medium there. But you can definitely see this is just such a solid damage increase in comparison to what Luke Cage used to be a few years ago before his buff, man. He was absolutely terrible, and now he's just a very fast-paced, aggressive machine. And the playstyle of Luke Cage certainly isn't going to be for everyone. The team synergy does require a very expansive roster, a lot of investment there. So I get that this is definitely not a champion that most people want to be ranking up for particular use in this team synergy. But even like without the team synergy as well, like Luke Cage was a friggin' beast for my OG free-to-play account, man. He's still a solid bleed immune champion. He's still got some pretty decent damage, and you know, with a little bit of luck you can get some decent stun chains and just absolutely nuke opponents down. So I would recommend, if you do have Luke Cage, he's a good rank 4, but also you can take this man up to 5-star rank 4 via gems that you can get in Variant, the Science rank up gems. So you know, maybe consider looking at something like Variant 4, Variant 3 first, see if you can 100% some chapters, because the 4-star one in Variant 4 is pretty straightforward if you can get past the first one in terms of completion to 100%. So that might be a way for some people to get a 4-star rank 4 Luke Cage, and he's 100% worth it, man. Just such a powerful champion. We just absolutely bulldozed that Act 6 Dormammu there, slaughtered in 43 hits, and that Dormammu had over 400,000 hit points. Next up, I wanted to try the double power gain magic in Act 6 Chapter 2, and you know, this is a great strategy for dealing with magic, because as soon as you get to the special 3, there's no limbo that's going to proc, but overall, I think we got pretty lucky in this matchup when it did come to limbo procs. I took some hits there, but we went indestructible and mitigated it, so you know, it wasn't really too much of a problem. Now we've got up to 2 bars of power, and we didn't get the final limbo proc, so that was absolutely fantastic there. She's got 5 stacks of exhaustion, so we haven't had like the best RNG overall. It's been okay though, it hasn't been absolutely terrible. We're now up to 8 stacks of exhaustion. We're going for another special 1, another combo. We're in Assassin's range now, another combo, special 1. We've got plenty of reach to take that magic down, and again, she had about 200,000 hit points there. So 5-star rank 5 Luke Cage, I reckon for all sorts of cheesy stuff in the future, man, he's going to have some very interesting uses and some cool videos that we might be able to do on this dude for certain bosses and certain challenges. So I took down another Void as well in Act 6 Chapter 2, and this one's a little bit more beefy than the previous one, but I always really like the Luke Cage versus Void matchup on my free-to-play account, just because you're getting these hits in so incredibly quickly that you don't need to keep a close eye on Void's debuff counter, just because in that time where the debuff is going to land on you, man, it's just very easy to get like back up to 10 hits and cleanse the debuff on you. So Luke Cage, I've always found like just works incredibly well for the Void matchup. Then we get to see that wonderful Void special 3, a big strength for Luke Cage, that awakened ability, the indestructible. We go straight in for a light attack intercept there into special 1, And yeah, that man is down. So he didn't quite have the burst to like kill him in that initial stretch there. But you can see with the indestructible, it's just very easy to recover a fight and then just go in and nuke the opponent down. Now, I try to run on Mojo for a little bit of fun this month's uncollected boss, and look at the RNG here, man. I'm just not getting any exhaustion. I don't get a single exhaustion for 15 hits. It was absolutely unbelievable. I didn't even dash back. I got the Sunspot synergy, the champion synergy. I was like, what is going on here? So, unbelievable stuff, man. But this really isn't the best matchup this month, just due to the fury and the degeneration associated with the node mainly. But I think against your average Mojo, if there's just one that can be stunned, I think this is going to be a really, really good tactic. Even with probably the worst start possible, we still got like 92% of Mojo down. So it was a solid run, a solid effort from Luke Cage there. But again, if it hadn't have been from that like absolutely awful start, that probably would have been like a really clean one-shot. So I'm a little bit gutted about that. I tried it a couple of other times as well, and I instantly procced like, you know, stun the opponent or use a special attack, and that just, you know, DJ'd me to death from the fury and aura interaction. So yeah, it's mainly just him being the uncollected boss this month, and having that fury node in particular, it just doesn't make it like the best time for Luke Cage in that matchup. So, you know, not the best there, but hey, I've got high hopes in the future that Luke Cage is going to be fantastic for some of the Mojos that we might see in future challenging content, just for a little bit of a cheese fiesta. And then finally, we end the video with Aggression Fury Rhino in Act 6 Chapter 3, and this guy has about 300,000 hit points here, so a very, very chunky Rhino. Fantastic chain stun here, but I think we are about to run out of power, so we do need to tank a special 3. However, we've got indestructible from the awakened ability, so it's just a case of taking 0 damage, and if the opponent ends the special 3 right next to you, I've just found a lot of the time it's just very reliable to go in for a light attack straight after, but it depends on the opponent's special 3. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy today's Luke Cage Rank 5 gameplay, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.